We go green though. It is Tierney. Armstrong has missed the start. He's back in 6th position as they race through turn 1. Lorenzo Travisonuto at the tail of the field trying to make up places. Nicholas Nielsen adjusts the carburetor on that Vortex engine. He's in position number 2. Whoa, that was a brilliant start by Felice Tierney. We've lost one at the back of the field. Looks as though it might have been one of the Zanardi kart pilots. Felice Tierney, he leads from pole position. Very clever start, you got to say. You got to hand it to him. Nicholas Nielsen is in 2nd spot. Then it's a Russian, Alexander Vartanyan. They go down the Vega tyres back straight for the first time. No change in position at the moment. One of the RFM karts up there also. All in identical livery. Looks as though it's the Dane, in fact, Casper Rose, the number 228 kart. So we've got an Italian leading a Dane, a Russian, then another driver from Denmark. They come around the final corner. This is the first of 15 laps. The problem Felice Tierney is going to have right now is every other driver is going to be in his slipstream, including Nicholas Nielsen in 2nd spot. Vartanyan, who sits low in the kart as it is. Nielsen blocks it off. Casper Rose tries the outside line. Gets good traction out of that turn. Martin van Leuven, a great start by the Dutchman. There he is in position number 5. Marcus Armstrong, he's in 7th. There he is with the orange helmet. One behind Carol Bash, who's made a brilliant start to be in position number 6. Down the Vega tyres, back straight. Felice Tierney still holds off Nielsen. Vartanyan, they're starting to bunch up a bit. Here comes Nielsen. Here comes Nielsen. Not this time, says Felice. Vartanyan, Rose. The Danish driver is on the back of the Russian. That is Rose on the back of Vartanyan. Felice Tierney into the final corner. He continues to lead. The gap is insignificant. You can see Nielsen is right on his tail. He's now in the slipstream. That was Yuri Vips, the Estonian, going through. Just ahead of Armstrong and Maestranzi. Still no change in position except for right there. Carol Bash goes up on Martin van Leuven. That's the scene at the far end of the Sarno circuit. It is a CRG leading 2 Tony karts and an Alonso kart. Then the Cosmic. Martin van Leuven in the 2nd CRG kart. Desperately trying to work his way up through the field to try and give some assistance of sorts to Felice Tierney, who again looks over his shoulder. He's got the Perilla powered. The drivers behind him pretty much all got the Vortex on. Till we go back to Van Leuven, who is powered by TM. There's Bash in position number 5, the pole for the Cosmic Racing Department. Into the final turn. This is the end of the 3rd lap. The gap 0.12 of a second last time round. 0.12 of a second this time round. Nothing in it. As Martin van Leuven in the 209 CRG goes flying through turn 1. 129 k's an hour right there. Probably more for Nielsen because he's got the slipstream. Vartanyan gets a slipstream because he sits so low in that kart, does the young Russian. Carol Bash in 5th. Now on the back of Casper Rose from Copenhagen in Denmark. Driving for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, the team that, as we mentioned, won the World Senior and Junior Championships in 2014. Vartanyan has a big look on the inside of Nielsen, but in doing that, he's left himself a little bit exposed to Rose. Here comes Carol Bash. The pole is now up into position number 4. Marcus Armstrong has slipped back to 8th. He's been passed by Yuri Vips. Well, he will be absolutely livid with himself. He actually touched with Felice Tierney in the final corner. He's caught in a battle between Vips, Maestranzi and Vigano. Benjamin Lassane, the Belgian. There's Lorenzo Travisonuto going through. Leonardo Lorandi has lost a stack of time. He's down in position number 13. Bash! Now up into 3rd. Wow, this is sensational driving by the driver from Poland. Carol Bash, he's come from a long way back on the grid. Remember, he had that incident in the final lap of the pre-final. Started out at 12. He's in position number 3. Let's have a look at the replay. There's Bash. While we were watching the leaders, Karol Bash says, I'll take third position. The Russian Alexander Vartanyan could not respond. You can see there at the bottom of your screen why he's on the charge, because he has to chase down the driver who is now immediately in front of him, the Dane Nicholas Nielsen, to win the title for 2015. The RFM Motorsport karts go through. Armstrong now with a little bit of a gap in front of him, desperately trying to make up the time he lost at the start of the race. Jessica Backman from Sweden driving for Cosmic Kart goes through. Big look over the shoulder that time from Nielsen. It's a big gap back to third. Karol Bash. Vartanyan now back up into fourth spot. Goes past the Dane Casper Rose. This is 1/3 race distance, the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series for 2015. Nielsen is starting to mow down Felice Tieni. The gap is 0.3 of a second, but then it's 1.3 seconds. You can see it's about 60 or 70 metres back to Bash. Nielsen in second, right there. He leads the series. Tieni realistically cannot win the WSK Supermaster Series for 2015. It's Nielsen in second versus Bash in third for the title. Alexander Vartanyan still sits right behind the pole. Lorandi sits in third in the series as they come across the line in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius in the background. This is the 6th of 15 laps. It's a 25-kilometre final. Felice Tieni, this is a brilliant drive. He's actually starting to pull away a little bit now. It's almost out to half a second as he gets a little bit sideways over the ripple strip there. Just lets the CRG drive itself. Of course, as we mentioned, he was on the podium 1 week ago, driving in the KZ2 gearbox class, the opening round of the European Championship. He's got the World Championship in his eyes. That's what he's aiming for later this year, but he's looking at a WSK Supermaster Series round win if he can hold on for another 8.5 laps. Nicholas Nielsen, the Dane, no relation to the former Le Mans winner, also from Denmark, John Nielsen. I still don't quite believe him on that. Denmark's not a big country, he assures us though. But Nielsen is a common surname in Denmark, as common as Smith, or Jones, or Nielsen. Nicholas in second spot. The gap now down to 0.3 of a second. There's Travisanuto going through. Richard Verschoor, a long way back in the field, the number 210 RB Racing Esprit kart. Bash has lost third position to the Russian Vartanyan. Fastest lap though, Nicholas Nielsen. We saw him take 0.2 of a second out of our race leader the last time round. And in doing so, he took the fastest lap of the race. Armstrong, you can see, has made up some time. He's in position number 5. 2 more places to step on the podium for the young Kiwi. Wow, where would Marcus have been had he have got a good start? He absolutely got slaughtered into turn 1, was back into 8th. He's now back up into 5th spot with clean air in front of him, trying to chase down Vartanyan and Bash, and he's got time to do it. Nielsen's got plenty of time to catch the leader and make a pass, but whether he's got the speed is another thing. The gap last time was 0.358 of a second. 0.37 now, so virtually identical as Karol Bash goes through position number 4. Armstrong is 1.2 seconds behind the pole. Just flashing through there with the bright orange helmet. Tom Joyner not having a good run. The former world champion is down in position number 15 behind Lorenzo Travisanuto. Marco Mestranzi has made up 4 places. He's trying to chase down the young Swede, Jessica Backman. She's made up 2 places herself and is now knocking on the door of a top 10 finish is young Jessica. Juan Correa, though, the American, way down in position number 17, fighting off the challenge of Richard Verschoor. It's not a bad result in terms of competitiveness because the field is so tight, but position 17 is not something that you want to tell anything about. No disrespect, but the top level of KF World Karting, be assured, it's really tight. Archie Tillett and Richard Forshaw, it looks like, just had a coming together. I'm sorry, Nicholas Kagard and Forshaw just having a coming together. There's our leaders. The gap is still 0.38 of a second. Now the Russian starts to show some speed. This is what we saw out of him in Heat 3 yesterday. Fastest lap of the race for Alexander Vartanyan. Tiene for the factory CRG team. Nielsen, the factory TKART team. Vartanyan for Ward Racing out of Sweden. Down the Vega tyres, back straight. This is lap number 10 that they are on right now. Felicitiani, this is a gutsy drive. Very, very clever start. You've got to hand it to him there. Perfectly legal. He leads down into turn 1. There's Vartanyan, Bash, Armstrong. Then it's Vips, Matteo Vigano in the top cart. Lorandi down position number 8. Marco Dionysis goes through, one ahead of Jessica Backman. Field starting to spread out from third back, but there's still a big fight on to take the final round of the WSK Supermaster Series. And Nielsen, potentially the title. There's the points on the screen. You can see Felicitiene would really need Bash and Nielsen not to finish this race, but they sit in second and third right behind him. Vartanyan with a very remote chance also. Then Leonardo Lorandi, but he's down in position number 8. In through the infield, the gap still 0.38, 0.39 of a second. You can see it on your screen. He's just close enough to get a slipstream as they go through turn 1. Up the back straight now. There's Bash, position number 4 and off the podium. He won't take the title unless something happens to Nielsen. And you might think that's very unlikely, but let's remember the last round at La Conca, Nielsen was leading, similar sort of race to this, and he had an ignition fail of all things. The simplest little thing that can happen to anybody. He probably would have had the series in the bag by now. He's now having to fight with Felicitiani, the CRG pilot, to take the title. You just saw a brief glimpse of the stranded CRG kart of Petro Hiltbrand. He's out of the race, as is Benjamin Lesen and Mario Martucci. 4 laps to go at the end of this one. Felicitiani has not made a mistake so far. I think he's pulled out a bit of a gap this time. 0.38 of a second last time. Let's check the times for you. 0.46. Wow, Felicitiani's pulling away from the Dane. Carol Bash, very ragged outside of turn 1. Nielsen, there's no one behind you really that can challenge. Vartanyan's desperately trying his best. He puts in another fastest lap of the race. There's Bash, throws that cosmic kart over the ripple strips. Felicitiani, though, is he on track for a series round win? The final round, additional points on offer. Remember, for this, the 4th and final round of the 2015 series. Only a mistake surely would cost Felicitiani the race win. Nielsen closes up under brakes. Remember, hand-operated front wheel discs on all these karts. They stop on a 10-cent piece. Absolutely phenomenal braking ability. They barely use it through that corner, though. Don't want to wash off too much speed. They come down the start-finish straight. Throw it sideways into turn 1. There goes Vartanyan for Ward Racing from Russia. Bash uses every bit of the racetrack and then some. The gap is 0.52 of a second, and Vartanyan is closing on Nielsen. There's Armstrong. There's Vips, the Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver. One ahead of Matteo Vigano, Martin van Leuven, Leonardo Lorandi, and Marco Dionysis has clawed his way back into the top 10. The field has strung out just a little bit. Felicitiani, a look over the shoulder. Nielsen's right there. If anything, he's closed up a little bit this time. Vartanian is definitely catching Nielsen. They're coming around to get the last lap board now. Felicitieni, the gap is 0.4 of a second, so he's catching him. Nielsen is catching him. He's got 1,622 meters, 99 meters, to catch him. They've already gone down the back straight. Vartanian in third, catching Nielsen. There's Bash. Marcus Armstrong in position number 5, head of Yuri Vips. Nielsen getting really close to the back of Felicitieni. Will he have enough time? The CRG versus the TKART, the final round of the Supermaster Series. One of the last passing opportunities coming up at the end of the Vega tyres back straight. Felicitieni, you saw that coming. He looked behind into the paddock hairpin. Vartanian is right on the back of Nielsen now. A big look over the shoulder from Felicitieni. I think he's going to do it. I don't think Nicholas Nielsen is close enough to make a move, and he doesn't need to claim the series title. The final corner coming up for the Italian in the CRG. The checkered flag goes to the CRG driver, Felicitieni. He wins. What a brilliant, brilliant drive by the CRG pilot. Nielsen was second from Vartanian.